Well, hey everyone. So, as you know, I have invested in a BambuLab A1 Mini here in this end of year sale that was in last year, to also that I can also a little bit talk about these printers. But I have decided to push out that review now, because BambuLab announced that they bring out a new firmware update where all of the cloud prints must go to through the Bambu cloud, but more on that later. And as we all know, I'm a Prusa boy here with my Prusa Mini and my Prusa Mark IVs here. So theoretically I could also name that video BambuLab A1 Mini review as seen as from a Prusa fanboy. But as I said in my previous video about the Mark IVs upgrade, I wanted to do this review as neutral as possible. So I decided to do this review in 3 or possibly 4 chapters here. And the first chapter would be for the things that I really like. The second, which I find okay, or things that could have been improved. And the third thing would be what is absolute garbage about them. And the fourth thing would be a comparison with the Prusa Mini Plus and also the Mark IVs here. And before anybody asks, neither BambuLab or Prusa were involved in this review, so everything is my own mind. And with that out of the way, I want to thank you about today's video sponsor, which is nobody, because I don't want to do those things here on this channel. You can read on my website a little bit more closer if you are interested. But the first thing would be about the things that I really like about this printer. And that would be that the printer does every calibration it needs. The Live Adjust Z, it does it automatically. The mesh bed leveling, it does it automatically. Everything. And also this input shaper is also been calibrated for every print. But I find it a bit useless to calibrate it before every print. I think it's enough to only calibrate it one time when you set the printer up. And on the steel sheets, there's also written on it with which filament the steel sheet is compatible with. And that can save out a ton of time for googling and searching if this steel sheet is compatible with like PLA filament or ABS filament. And while speaking filaments, I can't show you this here because I don't have a bamboo spool here, but when you load up a bamboo spool, the printer does recognize the bamboo spool because of the little RFID chip inside it. But as I said, I can't show you this because I don't have a BambuLab spool here. And the print speed of the printer is really awesome. And the prints, they are in a silence that is almost scary, where you don't know if the printer is still running. Well, when I think of it, didn't Prusa announce an I2S upgrade? No, that was an April Fool's joke. And what is also really nice about this printer, all of the prints can be also done on a smartphone, where you can also start the prints and everything. But this isn't something for me, because I do the normal, or the classic thing where I do the slicing on the computer and then transferring it via USB or something. But what I didn't have with the printer is an AMS Lite. And with this little add-on, the printer is capable of printing with 4 colors at, theoretically at the same time. But I want to talk a little bit more about the AMS Lite later. But now we come to the things that I find okay, or they can have some improvements. Because then there would be the design of the printer. Now, don't get me wrong, the design of it is okay, it is produced pretty nice, but the depressive white and gray here, I don't know, it didn't have to be there. And there's also a camera on board of it, but the quality of it isn't really enough for a WhatsApp message or something. I think the camera here is really meant to just see remotely if the print is still running, but nothing for a time-lapse video or something. And also the power supply of the printer is integrated into the printer, but the power cord is permanently attached to the printer. Where I think, why the heck is that like it? Whoever had the idea at BambuLab at making this power cord here permanently attached to the printer, I want to see this guy. And then I mentioned before that the print speed of it is really nice, but the print quality, at some prints I found it a bit underwhelming. I mean, sure, it is fast, yeah, but some prints like this Benchy here, which was the first print of it, does look really not good. It is almost a I don't know how you want to describe it. Maybe it's because I used the Prusa PLA here. It was the pre-sliced G-code on the SD card here. But still, the quality is not that great. But also other prints, they also look not that really good, like this bin here that I printed for the poop shoot here. Yes, this is how it's called in some places on the internet. And it also doesn't it doesn't look really good, yeah. And it goes further, like this contraption here, this finger here. I printed it with the Elego PLA filament, but it seems like it has some adhesion problems on the print bed. So I don't know. This is I don't know. This print quality is not really that good for me. But what I also find not that really impressive, that BambuLab didn't include that many filaments in their slicer or made it capable for this printer. Well, Bambu Studio is based on Prusa slicer, and the Prusa slicer has done really a big list of filaments that they are supporting, but nothing is seen in the Bambu Studio. So that means that I can only show you prints with the eSun PLA filament here. But also, while talking filaments, this printer can only accept PLA, PETG and TPU, which is a flexible filament, and also PVB filament. Or? No, PVA filament, I want to say. And weirdly enough, on the steel sheet here, there stands here ABS filament, but the software on this printer doesn't really recognize the ABS filament, so this is pretty weird. And so does it go on. Because now there are the points that I find pretty shit about this printer. And that would be the poop that the printer produces. Especially when the printer uses the AMS system here, which produces a ton more filament poop that is really awkward that this printer produces it. Yes, and also at one color here that I am running here, the printer produces at least 2 filament poops. At least one when the print is starting, and also a second one when you load filament. But I think this is because of the active flow rate compensation, which the printer does on before every print, which is awesome, but I don't know what it does. But I find it really useless when you use the AMS system. I mean, why? Why? And what is also really useless is, why the heck does this printer uses a micro SD card? I mean, it is a big device. Just use a normal SD card or a USB slot for USB drives. And at least there is also the touchscreen, which is not really awesome. And yeah, the printer has a touchscreen, which I find bad, but it isn't even a good one. Like, I have to tap a few millimeters on top to go to a menu point where I already clicked on some options. It is why? But what I didn't write down here on the script while I'm seeing this with this firmware update, while I was searching in my camera here, I have found a video on that camera that I recorded where I wanted to do a firmware update on this printer. And this is also something that I found a bit useless. When I wanted to do a firmware update on it, I have to connect it to the internet, and also I have to register or link in a Bambu account on it. And I mean, why? Why the heck I have to connect a Bambu account to it to do a firmware update? Yeah, I mean, with the iPhone, theoretically I can do an offline firmware update also here, and also to not have it connected with an Apple ID. Or the Prusa printers, they can also do an offline firmware update. I mean, when you are connected with another computer to the internet. And also for every other device that I have here, you have not to be signed in to do a firmware update. So why? Why is it like that? Oh man, there are many points that I'm disappointed about the printer. But I didn't even mention that this printer is produced by a Chinese manufacturer. And I mean, okay, you can say anything about it, and you could theoretically say that this is a China gold thing here, or as it was established here in Germany, we say here China gold. But it is something of me because for me, I didn't really like China. Oh man, maybe a slight comparison with my Prusa Mini here can do something about it. Because now I want to compare the Prusa Mini with the BambuLab A1 Mini here. And also my Mark IVs with the A1 Mini here. And why, do you ask? Well, it's because the Mark IVs has theoretically the same features that the A1 Mini has, which is missing on the Prusa Mini here. So that is a little bit more fair. And that is even a bit more fair, I'm using the eSun filament here. First of all, because all of the profiles and such are there for these slicers, for the Bambu Studio and also for this Prusa slicer. And also the eSun filament, it is a good filament. And to be a bit more precise, I'm using the eSun ePLA Plus HS filament. The brown filament is for the A1 Mini here, and the green filament that I have here is for the Prusa printers. Yes, I know, a little bit more thoughts for the detail would be to use orange PLA filament for the Prusa printers, but before I recorded this video I didn't tapped on buy for the orange PLA filament from eSun, so yeah, that's the explanation behind it. And I'm also using the slicers that the manufacturer wants to use for these printers. So for the BambuLab printer, I'm using the Bambu Studio, and for the Prusa printers, I use the Prusa slicer. And I use the 0.2mm standard profile, or for the Prusa printers, the 0.2mm speed profile. And I wanted to use another STL file because I think everyone has seen a Benchy nowadays, but I didn't really find any other STL that I found interesting, so yeah. So I go with a little Benchy boat. But those are not the pre-sliced G-codes that the manufacturer did. I am slicing these Benchies from myself. And everything in the slicer is as standard as possible. We have the input shaper, the 0.2mm build height with adaptive cubic infill and also a 10% infill. And everything else is as standard as possible. And I also let both printers cool down to room temperature, so that we can also see how fast the printer heats up, and also to see a scenario when you see a model on the internet, how long does it take when you have the model when the printer is off. And so the printers begin to print. The Bambu printer does all the calibration things, while the Prusa Mini only does the mesh bed leveling here. But in this place here I want to say that you have to be a little bit more kind to the Prusa Mini, because the Prusa Mini doesn't have the load sensor inside it, so it can't do the live adjust Z on it, so yeah, you have to keep that in mind. And now you see time-lapse videos where both the printers produce a boat. I find it a bit, how I want to call it, a little bit surprising, but also I guessed it myself that the BambuLab A1 Mini is faster. And also the print quality of both of them looks great. But the Mini does have a little bit more stringing to it. Okay, but the Mark IVS, I know it's bigger, but I want to see how fast it prints or how it compares to the A1 Mini here. And the Mark IVS also has nearly all of the functions that the A1 Mini here has. The only thing that is missing is this active flow rate compensation. And there, the print also goes on here. The Mark IVS here was the fastest to end. But the print quality, I don't know. On one side, the Mark IVS on some points it does look better than from the A1 Mini, but there are also other places where the A1 Mini were better. But I think you have to decide what quality you like. But now we come to a close. And what do I think about this BambuLab A1 Mini and also to this entire ecosystem of BambuLab that they established? Well, on the one side, it is a pretty awesome 3D printer when you just want to start with 3D printing, and also if you are someone that is not really into this tech scene, it is a nice printer here, yeah? But when someone comes to me and asks me what 3D printer I would recommend, I would still recommend the Prusa printers here. Because BambuLab announced in some blog posts that they're rolling out a firmware update where basically no third-party devices or software is going to work then with Bambu printers. All the prints that have or that the user wants to do on these printers has to go through the Bambu cloud in order to get it running here. And also the printer also does not print unless the firmware update has been pushed out. And BambuLab says that it is for security reasons that they are rolling out this firmware update, which I find awesome. It is really nice that these manufacturers are keeping up for making these printers safe, but it is really, or how would I describe it? I don't know, it is really stupid that you can only use the official software and not other third-party devices or software on these printers. And there goes my question, why the heck are these manufacturers doing these things? I mean, sure, you can also do offline prints here, which I am doing then here, but that is not really the elegant solution, especially because the printer uses the micro SD card, and the micro SD card, the A1 Mini and literally every Bambu printer uses a micro SD card, where I think, why? And I also think with some or some people that are getting into this 3D printing scene, when they're seeing some errors with some authentication errors, I think that the 3D printing would be a little bit boring then. And also at Prusa, for example here, they have a Prusa app and also the Prusa Connect, but this is fully optional, yeah? You don't have to use these systems. And also the Prusa printers, they can print 100% offline, they are 100% open or nearly 100% open source, and they're easy to repair, and also you are investing in a manufacturer here in Europe. So I think that is really awesome. But now I said a ton about the Prusa printers here, but there are also other 3D printing manufacturers out there, not only BambuLab and Prusa. Oh man, this was a long one. But as I said, I am sticking with my Prusa printers here and also recommend the Prusa printers now going forward. But I did also want a Prusa Core 1 here, but realistically I don't have place for 100 3D printers here, but I want to say something. If this video or the other video from my German channel reach 2000 clicks after 2 weeks, well, I think about the review of this machine here. So when you want to see it, leave a subscribe down there, and when you also want to see some other tech related things on this channel here, you can leave a subscribe down there if you are interested in some tech videos. And when you liked the video, leave a like, and then there's nothing standing here anymore here on my script here, so I would say that was it for me, and we see us in the next video. So we see us.